What if I told you that one of the most immersive games you could ever play has no graphics at all? It sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're diving into the incredible world of audio games. This is a universe where sound is everything, and your own ears are the ultimate controller.
Come on, let's try a little experiment right now. Just close your eyes. Go ahead. I'll wait. Now, imagine you're in some epic adventure game. Can you tell what's around you? Could you dodge an enemy coming at you? It's tough, right? Most of us would be totally lost. But what if a game was built from the ground up to be played just like this? Let's find out how that's even possible.
All right, so first things first, what exactly is an audio game? Let's get a clear definition.
Okay, so think of it like this. In a normal video game, sound is kind of like the background music, the special effects. But in an audio game, sound is the entire world. Every single piece of information, where you are, where the enemy is, what you need to do next, it's all communicated through really carefully designed audio cues. It's literally about painting a complete picture, a whole universe, just with sound.
Now, this whole idea might sound super futuristic, but the real origins of audio gaming, they're surprisingly old school. We've actually got to go all the way back to the golden age of arcades, to the very first beeps and boops that kicked this whole thing off. So it all started with a really simple memory game. Back in 1974, Atari had this arcade cabinet called Touch Me that played sequences of tones and lights. And that simple idea, it absolutely exploded just 4 years later with the handheld Simon. I mean, who hasn't played Simon, right? And then you fast forward to the 90s, and Bop It takes that concept and just cranks it up to 11 with all these frantic audio commands.
You know, the real genius of these early toys was something they probably didn't even plan. It was their accessibility. Because the main way you played was by listening. It meant that anybody, whether you were sighted or visually impaired, could play together on a totally level playing field. It was this accidental sneak peek into a more inclusive future for gaming.
But those simple beeps were just the beginning. The real game changer, the thing that blew the doors wide open, was when computers finally found their voice.
So you have to remember, early PCs were all text, just text on a screen. But then, with huge innovations like Apple's Macintosh back in 1984, computers could suddenly read that text out loud. And this was absolutely revolutionary. All of a sudden, classic text adventures, games like Colossal Cave Adventure, were instantly playable for a whole new audience.
But here's the thing. As technology raced forward, a pretty big gap started to open up. On one hand, you had sighted gamers exploring these mind-blowing 3D worlds in games like Doom, or solving the beautiful, complex puzzles of Myst. But on the other hand, the options for blind gamers, well, they were still pretty much limited to simple card games or those older text adventures. The rest of the industry was sprinting ahead with graphics, and accessibility was kind of getting left in the dust.
So how in the world do you build a 3D world without any visuals? Well, you do it with some really clever sound design. Think about when you're wearing headphones. Using stereo panning, a developer can make a sound seem like it's coming from your left or your right. By making it louder or softer, you can tell if it's getting closer or farther away. And by changing the pitch, making it higher or lower, you can tell what kind of object it is. You put all that together, and suddenly you have a 3D space you can actually navigate using just your ears.
Okay, so we've seen the building blocks. How did these early ideas grow into the really sophisticated and amazing audio games that we have today? Let's jump into the modern soundscape.
Back in 1997, a Japanese designer named Kenji Ino did something truly radical. He released a game called Real Sound that had zero visuals. None. And his reason why is just so powerful. He said he wanted to create an experience where, after you finish, a sighted person and a blind person could have an equal conversation about the game they both just played. What an amazing idea.
And pretty soon, audio games broke free from the PC. In 2006, Nintendo got in on the action with Sound Voyager for the Game Boy Advance. And then, of course, the smartphone revolution happened. This was huge. A whole new wave of incredibly creative audio games popped up, like the super creepy horror adventure Papa Sangre.
And the growth since then has been, well, explosive. Get this, by June 2021, Amazon's Alexa alone had more than 10,000 audio games available as skills. That's right, 10,000. Voice assistants have basically opened up a massive new playground for sound-based games. But this is where the story gets really, really interesting. All those clever ideas and innovations that were born in the world of audio games, they're now starting to shape the future of huge, blockbuster, mainstream video games.
I mean, just look at The Last of Us Part 2, a game famous for its absolutely stunning graphics.
The developers, Naughty Dog, put in over 60 accessibility options, and because of that, the entire game can be played from start to finish without ever seeing the screen. It uses text-to-speech for the menus, haptic feedback in the controller to give you information, and this incredibly detailed system of audio cues for finding your way around and for combat. These are all techniques that were perfected in the world of audio-only games.
So when you look at this whole journey, from these simple beeps in an arcade all the way to the complex soundscapes in modern AAA titles, you see just how far we've come. The line between what we call an audio game and a video game is getting blurrier all the time.
And all of this, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? It leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. As we keep pushing for more realistic graphics and visual effects, what if we're overlooking the incredible power of sound? What if the next great leap forward in gaming isn't something we see at all, but something we hear?